What's up guys? Hope everyone's doing well, hope you're staying safe. For today's video I want to do a little bit of a different format. So I'm not going to be going out and shooting, I'm just going to be talking. If you aren't interested in that, just go ahead and click out now, but make sure you hit subscribe first so you can check in later when I post more adventurous videos. There's two things I really want to talk about today. The first is my recent blog post, Isolation Inspiration. Basically, what this is it's just like a Pinterest board for me to stick things that I've been finding on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, things that other photographers are doing that inspire me, and hopefully I can share this and inspire other people. So in my research, if you will, I've noticed 3 A's. First one is at home. There are so many ways to be creative at home. If you're a portrait photographer, maybe you can't go out and do portraits anymore, but check out self-portraiture. If there's someone else in quarantine with you, maybe a boyfriend, girlfriend, or your parents, try and use them as models. And another cool one that I've seen is pet photography. There's a lot of ways to get around it. If you're not a portrait photographer, check out the hashtag #OurGreatIndoors. A lot of people have been creating their own landscapes using objects around their house. It's definitely something to look into. I think there's some great results out there. The second A that I want to talk about today is avoidance. And basically what this means is if you're going out to the store or if you're going on your daily walk for exercise, bring your camera with you. Obviously safety comes first. You should be wearing your mask, you should be social distancing, staying away from people, but if you're doing these things anyways, bring your camera with you. There's no reason to leave your creativity at home when you're going out to do these things. I've seen great results just from photographers who have been, walking by stores, or photographers who have been stuck on rooftops and had to shoot from the skies. Just because you're being safe doesn't mean you don't have to be creative. That's the key thing here. And actually, if you check out my next video coming out in a week, I've tried my hand at street photography while staying inside of my car. Basically just trying to push myself creatively while still staying safe. Hopefully creating great images. Make sure you're staying in line with your state guidelines, the CDC guidelines. Stay safe out there. Lastly, the third A that I want to talk about is archives. And this is probably the easiest way to be producing and sharing new content in today's situation. Basically what this means is just going back to old photos or old videos that you have saved on your hard drives. I've seen photographers re-editing old photos. I've seen photographers critiquing their old work, sharing their growth. There's so many ways to do it, and in light of this, I have created my own set of archives. I have this. This right here is the second thing that I want to talk about in this video. In 2017, I studied abroad in Rome, and I've shared, hundreds of photos from that trip over the years, but there are a lot of photos that I've never shared, and there's a lot of reasons for this. Sometimes the photos are good, but they're not great. They just don't stand out enough on their own. They're just not bangers. For a long time they just sat on my hard drive without ever being looked at again. When it was announced how hard Italy was being hit by coronavirus, I wanted to, go back and check out my old photos, basically just to experience it again. And I found a lot of photos that I thought worked together. They needed a lot of work, and maybe at the time in 2017 I wasn't good enough of a photographer to put these together, but I saw a lot of stuff that really just reminded me of how amazing Rome was. A lot of people think of these ornate churches and these world wonders when you think of Rome, but having lived there, the things that I find beautiful about Rome were the grittiness of the actual city and the people that live there. The cigarettes and the graffiti, loitering in the streets until 2 a.m. drinking on a weeknight. Those are the things that I think about when I think back on my time in that city. So you might notice these photos are in black and white, which, for me is not what I normally do. I typically edit in color. In fact, I almost exclusively edit in color. But I was really inspired to go for a film aesthetic with these photos, partly because of how timeless Rome is and my memories are, partly because a lot of these photos are underexposed or out of focus, and black and white is a lot better for that. So I made this book using a website called collage.com. I highly recommend checking them out, especially signing up for their email list. I actually decided to make a photo book because they emailed me and told me that I had a reward for a free photo book. I didn't have to do anything for that, they just sent it to me. So definitely go ahead and check them out. It's a great place to get quality books for cheap. In terms of actually making the book, I made this in Lightroom. Just used their book function, and using a website called Blurb, I was able to get a digital ebook, which I have available on my website right now. Go to joejasperphoto.com/blog/RomaBook. You can check out the whole book there. I have it on display. You can also go ahead and download a copy onto any Android, Apple, or Kindle device. And if you want to help out a local artist, if you want to support, go ahead and shoot me a message on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, email, and let me know, and I'll see if I can get you a physical copy. This was definitely a lot of fun to make. It was great looking back at these photos. Really makes me nostalgic on my time there, and I'm glad that I took the time to go back and look at these photos. At one point I had written these off as unusable, and now I've created something that I think really represents a place that I love. So definitely encourage you to go ahead and look at your own archives, look at your own old work. You grow as time goes on, and you never know what you're capable of. So that's all I got for you today. Thank you so much for listening. If you're still here, you're a real one. If not, you're still a real one. I understand. Thanks so much for checking this out, and make sure you go get your copy at joejasperphoto.com. Peace!